What an absolute thrilling game as the Raptors find a way to beat the Detroit Pistons 105-102. And this... First off, before I say anything, Kyle Lowry, if you guys did not see the game, was back in this time. And a lot of people thinking, he's probably going to be restricted when it comes to minutes and all that kind of stuff. The guy ended up playing 42 minutes, so no restrictions there at all. No. But we'll break down what that guy did, Kyle, in a little bit. But first off, Raptors had an abysmal first quarter. Couldn't get any shots to fall. Couldn't get a stop. They were down 33-15 after the first quarter. Much better second quarter as they were +8 in that quarter. But we're still stuck a lot, really. They were at one point stuck 20. But again, they find a way to come back and win by 3. This team, more or less Kyle Lowry, because he's the engine that could for this team. Chugga 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 chugga. He's the one that he's the coal you keep throwing in the train to keep the dang thing moving. Kyle Lowry was unbelievable, and where do we even start? I mean, do we start with this team struggling from 3 over the past little while, and the first 3 the guy takes, bang, knocks it in, and it's just like, oh, that's so beautiful. Now, before I go any further, his line in 42 minutes, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists, and 2 steals, 9 of 16 shooting for 56%, 7 of 7 from the line, and he was 2 of 5 from 3. Kyle Lowry didn't miss a beat. The guy jumped right in this game and just started going. Now, people are going to say, that's the only excuse I really got, that the Raptors came out slow. It's because Kyle's trying to feel it out with Serge and trying to feel it out with, all the new ways they're playing and stuff like that. Or more or less, the other guys are trying to feel the way Kyle is. You never know. But nonetheless, they were able to find out what each other were doing, and the ball was humming all game long. They finished with 29 assists. It's something we talked about in yesterday's video against Indiana. Raptors only had, what was it, 11 assists. They almost tripled that. They were unbelievable tonight when it comes to moving the basketball. But again, they weren't hitting their open shots. Jamari Carroll was atrocious. He only played 13 minutes, only had 2 points and a rebound, and he was 1 of 6 shooting. I mean, he was atrocious tonight. Serge Ibaka, only 2 of 9 shooting, ended up with only 7.7 boards, but only 1 of 6 from 3. However, that 1 3 he made was down the stretch right at the end, and that was a big 3 he hit. That was a big 3. And, DeMar, another reason we're going to look at this, right? DeMar DeRozan, yes, the guy only had 12 points. And normally on any given night where Lowry is not in the lineup and DeMar gets only 12 points, this team just doesn't really find a way to win, especially when him and Serge get only 7 combined. Or, when only Serge gets 7 himself. And but then you throw Lowry into the mix. He gives you 27 and 10 assists. And people can't forget that DeMar DeRozan did have a double-double, 12 points and 10 assists for Double D. And he also did have some big shots down the end. He did only shoot 29% from the field. But again, he had the big shots late, and that's what counted. JV, obviously overshadowed by Kyle Lowry's unreal return. But he had 19 points and 5 boards. He looked just fine. He was big in this one. 9 of 11 shooting for 81%. He missed the one free throw on the last 2 free throws of the game, and I was kind of like, JV, man, you gotta get those. But nonetheless, they missed the 2 threes they took, and the Raptors won. Corey Joseph has been fantastic in Kyle Lowry's absence, but he ain't Kyle Lowry. I mean, let's just say it right now. Say it right now and say it as we go along. Corey Joseph has been a great player since he's been out. Don't get me wrong. He played 27 minutes, had 15 points, 5 boards, assists, a couple steals, and he did well, right? And he also knocked down, a couple threes. So I mean, he did a fantastic job. But Kyle Lowry is a difference maker. And I mean, not just because of his, again, 27 points, 10 assists, 5 boards. He also, if you guys remember that play, I think it was in the third quarter or in the fourth quarter. I'm not sure exactly where it was. Drummond got the rebound. Kyle Lowry all up in his grill, forces Drummond to, forces him to dribble it, and that ain't going to go well. He loses it. Lowry gets it, gets behind Drummond, and then waits for Drummond, like pump fakes. Drummond jumps into him, gets the 3-point play. And that, I mean, that is gorgeous. And also taking a charge late in the game as well as he did, and another 3-point play. He was fouled taking a 3 as well, and he knocked down all 3 free throws. Kyle Lowry. I know I've been harping all video on him so far, but that's the reason we won. I mean, as much as JV played well and Corey Joseph did well off the bench, and Patrick had 10 himself, and he was 4 of 6 shooting, knocked down 2 of 4 from 3. He was good. Kyle Lowry did everything for this team. They were down 20 points. This guy was keeping them afloat. I mean, I think at one point when we had like 20-something points, but he had 13. Kyle had 13 at some point. And I mean, this team thrives on Kyle Lowry. They did a great job without him. As much as there's been games where I'm like, God, this team doesn't look right without him. They didn't do bad at all. They have if I'm not mistaken, one of the better records in the league since the All-Star break. And all of that has been without Kyle Lowry. Now you throw Kyle into the mix, and you have 3 more games for Kyle to, get accustomed to the situation and have everybody get accustomed to Kyle and get it all working nice and good. This could be really, really good. I mean, we saw it clearly tonight. After an abysmal game last night, you get a big boost from Kyle today. You have an abysmal first quarter, but you find a way to win. And that is what good teams do. When you shoot 47% and they shoot 52%, that's not a big difference. But anytime an opposing team shoots over 50%, it's going to be a tough one, right? What does help is that they have Andre Drummond going to the free throw line, and that's always a joke. Him and DeAndre, I mean, my goodness, that is a laugh in itself. But I got to give it credit where credit's due. The team didn't give up. Not just Kyle. I mean, Kyle did a large portion of things. But again, like I said, DeMar DeRozan with a few shots right at the end. Serge Ibaka with the big 3. And I mean, like, JV had some big points in that fourth quarter as well. So yes, and arguably they could have been set up by Kyle and things like that, but you got to knock down your shots. And that's what they weren't doing in the first quarter, and they didn't do in the second half against Indiana. This is big news. This is a big, big thing, getting Kyle back. Now, we are 2 wins away from 50 wins. We have 3 games remaining. The final game is against Cleveland. I don't want to go into that game needing one win to hit 50, because I just don't. You play Miami at home in the next one, which Miami on the road is not too easy to beat, but Miami at the Air Canada Center, if they can come out firing, now they got Lowry back, hopefully he feels good tomorrow after this big hard performance by him, then having him in the lineup would be big. And also, they play Sunday in New York, taking on the Knicks, who are, I mean, they've had an abysmal year. You can beat them, bang, you're at 50. Then you go into Cleveland. If the game means anything, you play everybody and everything like that, but you might not. I don't know how they're gonna work it. I don't know how it's gonna look. I don't know how you guys want them to do it. We have 3 games remaining. 3 games. And oh, am I pumped or what? I am pumped or what? This is exciting. Now, I was not expecting Kyle to come back in this one. We were expecting a game before the playoffs. It maybe not even come back until the playoffs. But today's the 4th last game of the season, and he was in the lineup. That's big stuff. So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video and you enjoyed this game, hit that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what you guys thought of this one. Kyle Lowry's return. I mean, just give me everything you guys thought about this one. It was a crazy one. Nice win. And also it keeps you ahead of, the Wizards, because you don't want to go down into fourth, because Cleveland's beating the snot out of Boston right now. So you never know what's going to happen. If they come first and you drop to fourth, you play them in this round too, and oh goodness, it's all craziness. But the Raptors got to focus on themselves right now, and they did tonight. So let me know what you guys thought of this one. Twitter is going to be down in the description. Follow up, and we'll be tweeting a little bit. Keep you guys posted on when the videos are coming out and all that kind of stuff. All right, and we'll talk to you guys very shortly, Blue Jays edition, as the game sucked. The game sucked. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't want to get into that right now. Also, Leafs edition, as they're playing tomorrow night, home, taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Leafs looking to clinch a playoff spot. That's a big one. And also, like we've said, Friday, Raptors edition, as they're back at home, taking on the Miami Heat, looking for win number 49. We'll see you guys then.